Okay, so November is nearly upon us, which means it is time for my November TBR, and I'm just going to give you a bit of a heads up, a little disclaimer here. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to get through all of these books, because if I thought I had a massive TBR last month, I'm a lot more anxious about this month, which you will soon see yourself. I'm starting off with these two books, Words of Radiance Part 1 and Words of Radiance Part 2. Generally speaking, this book is sold as a one-book bind-up. I'll put a picture of that up there, but in Australia, we get them sold as two different parts. This is the second book, or the second book in this series, the Stormlight Archives, and I'm really excited to get back into it. It's a double tome, so they're both adult fantasies, obviously, both because part 1 and part 2, and when you combine these two together, they total 1,217 pages, which is a double tome plus 217 pages, so wish me luck with these ones. The next book that I'm going to be reading in November is the first of two books that have been pushed over from October because I did not get to them this month, and that is Allegiant, which is a YA dystopian. This book is going to help me with a goal that I have set between October and December to close out open-ended series. This is the third book in the Divergent series, which you can see Divergent right here. I've been covering it the whole time. So a couple of months ago, or quite a few months ago actually, I read Divergent, gave that book 5 stars, and then I read Insurgent, don't remember what I gave that one. This is the final book in that series. I'm looking forward to finally getting to it. It is 526 pages long, which if we mark part 1 and part 2 of the Words of Radiance as two separate books, this becomes my third tome in a row. So, can you see how I'm getting a bit nervous? No? Well, wait, because there's more. The fourth book that I plan to read in the month of November is this book, The Toll by Neil Shusterman. This is a YA dystopian book, and this book is also being carried over from October into November. This book is actually 631 pages long, which makes it 131 pages over being a tome as well. So 4 tomes in a row. Wish me the best of luck. Because all 4 of these books are books that are continuing on with a series, I'm not going to talk about them here because spoil the remainder of the series for each of the books respectfully, so I will leave Goodreads links to these 4 books in the description below. So the next book that I plan to read, I actually don't have on me. We had a little bit of an issue with the supplier, so I've had to change suppliers, but I should have this book on me well within time to still be able to read it. So I'll put a picture of it up there. That book is called The Rage of Dragons. So this is an adult fantasy, and once again, we have a tome, 544 pages long. Now, I don't know a lot about this book, so let's find out more about this book together. The Omi people have been fighting an unwinnable fight for almost 200 years. Their society has been built around war and only war. The lucky ones are born gifted. 1 in every 2,000 women has the power to call down dragons. 1 in every 100 men is able to magically transform himself into a bigger, stronger, faster, killing machine. Doesn't that sound really intriguing? I'm looking forward to reading that book. Now, a little side note about this book is that I actually did plan on getting to this book in 2021. However, I'm going to be reading it this month for a reason, and I'm going to explain that reason when I talk about the next book I'm going to be reading, which is another book that I don't have on me. But the reason I don't have this book on me is because it hasn't actually come out yet. The official publishing date of this book is the 10th of November, and I have already pre-ordered. It is on the way, and that book is The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter. So this is book 2 in that same series, with The Rage of Dragons being book 1. So the reason why I'm reading The Rage of Dragons is because The Fires of Vengeance is the book that we are reading for the Murphy Napier Buddy Read Book of the Month. So I did plan on reading The Rage of Dragons in 2021, but since this is the book that we are reading for the Murphy Napier Buddy Read of the Month, I might as well read Rage of Dragons and then read Fires of Vengeance along with everyone else. Now, Fires of Vengeance is 528 pages long, which makes it a tome as well. Can you see why I'm worried? Both of those books are fantasies. I'm not going to read the description of this book because I don't want to spoil myself, let alone you guys. But again, I'll put a link to the Goodreads for a description for this book below, so you can check that out if you so desire. So, moving on past my tomes, and the next book that I'm going to be reading in the month of November is this book, Revenge Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger. Now, this is a book that I've been wanting to get to since I received it, which was months ago. This is going to help me to close out another series that I am reading, which is the Devil Wears Prada series. I read this book a number of months ago after, incidentally, DNFing another book, and then just had this book on my bookshelf and decided to read it after watching the movie so many times and loving the movie. The book is so much better. Then on a whim, just for a laugh, I decided to look up in Google if there is another book in the series, because there isn't a film. And I came to find out that yes, there is. And so I just had to read it. This is the final book in the series because it is a duology. So again, not going to tell you much about this book because it is a continuation. I can't wait to continue on with the second book, or the final book in the duology, because of just how much I love this world. So I can't wait to go back into this one. It's an adult contemporary and it is 432 pages long, which makes it a half tome. The next book I'm going to be reading in November is finally this book. We've got two finalies coming to you now, and that is The Crown by Kiera Cass. This is the fifth and final book in the Selection series. So I did think that there were 6 books in the Selection series, but Happily Ever After, which I do own, is not really a book that's part of the series. It's more a compendium of novelettes. So I'm just going to skip this one for now, and if I do get into a mood at some point to read it later on, I will. But for now, I'm going to close out the Selection series with this book, The Crown. So this is a YA dystopian. It is 248 pages long, which makes it a half tome. Again, it is another book in a series, because I'm really trying to close out all these series, guys, if you can't tell. I'm finally getting to it because, it's taken a long time, and I just haven't been able to fit it in anywhere. But I'm really looking forward to getting on to that one. The next book that I'm going to be reading in November of 2020, because it's not like I haven't got enough books on my TBR already, right? Is going to be the Mr. Francie Buddy Read Book of the Month. We're just reading one this month, and that is this book, Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. An adult memoir. It is 227 pages long, which makes it a half tome. Some of you may know Lauren Graham from the extensive work she's done in TV and film, most notably in the critically acclaimed TV series Gilmore Girls, where she plays the role of the mother, Lorelai Gilmore. The tagline for this book is From Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls and everything in between. I'm really excited about this, and I've been talking to members of my buddy read who are also extremely excited to get to this, because most of us, me included, didn't know that Lauren Graham had her own book. So it's a memoir. I'm intrigued. If you want to join us for this Buddy Read, the Mr. Francie Buddy Read group link, which it takes place to begin with on Facebook, is going to be in the description below. The final book that I already have on me that I plan on reading in the month of November is The Siren by Kiera Cass. Beautiful cover, as a lot of people who have seen this book have said to me, which thank you. It is a YA fantasy, and it is 327 pages long, which makes it a half tome. This is a Kiera Cass standalone. However, I think, and I could be wrong, editing Mr. Francie will let us know right down there if I'm right or wrong. I think this is the most, the last book that Kiera Cass has published. So once you get through the Selection series, you then have this, and that completes all of the Kiera Cass books that are available. Is this disagreeing with me? Well, I don't know right now, but you do. This will help me to complete my Kiera Cass lot of books, and obviously I'm reading this post The Crown. So let's read a little bit about what this book is about. Love is a risk worth taking. Years ago, Cullen was rescued from drowning by the ocean. To repay her debt, she has served as a siren ever since, using her voice to lure countless strangers to their deaths. Though a single word from Cullen can kill, she can't resist spending her days on land, watching ordinary people and longing for the day when she will be able to speak and laugh and live freely among them again. This is going to be the first Siren book that I'm going to read, but I'm planning on reading another one next month that is apparently a lot darker, so let's start with the YA version of a Siren book first, shall we? Okay, so those are all the mountain of books that we already have, but I still need to draw 2 books from my pre-April TBR. I do not promise to get to these books, despite the fact that it is a goal of mine to read my pre-April TBR. I'm already somewhere around the realm of 4,700 pages with the books I've already planned to read, so we'll see if I get to these ones or if they'll need to be pushed over to another month. I have all of those books in this tub here, so I'm going to shake the tub and draw out 2 books, and those are the books that I'm going to read. Hopefully. Cross our fingers, we'll see how we go. So, give it a good shake. Okay. So the first book that I'm planning on reading, I'm not looking, we'll mix things up a little bit here. And the first book that I plan on reading is this one. Oh, well, there are 2, so I'll take both. And the first book is a book called Beverly Right Here. Okay, so those books are down there, so I'll just pan the camera down. Hello! Beverly Right Here is actually right here. Beverly Right Here. And this book is by Kate DiCarmelo. I don't know much about this book, but as you can see on the sticker, this is an ARC book, an advanced reader copy. So let's see what the description has to say. This was what Beverly wanted, what she always wanted, to get away as fast as she could, to stay away. Well, that's not really telling us much. Looks like a really, really easy read as well, so that's good. The second book that we're going to pick, this one, from the pre-April TBR is... ooh. The Scent of Shadows. Hello! Okay, there it is. The Scent of Shadows by Vicky Patterson. This is book 1 in the first sign of the Zodiac series. So again, I don't know much about this book either, so let's read what it's about, shall we? Before you plan your next trip to Vegas, you might want to answer, are light or are you shadow? Because there's another world behind the neon lights and action of Sin City, a world where forces of light and shadow wage war, and only 12 brave men and women endowed with supernatural abilities keep evil at bay. But the battle has reached a tipping point, and just one person will control the fate of the city: casino heiress, photographer, and vigilante Joanna Archer. There is more, but I don't want to read more. That is intriguing me more than enough. These are some of the books that I plan to get to in the month of November. I will leave that there and let you guys go. Peace, blessings, and so much love. Please pray for me. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I'll see you again soon. Happy reading! Bye guys! Bye!